The twin suns of New Horizon 3 were setting behind the mountains, turning the sky into a swirl of orange and violet. The wind carried a soft hum from the glowing plants that dotted the valley. Everything shimmered like a dream. Dr. Ethan Corrin walked through the forest alone, his scanner blinking in his hand. He was a biologist working for the colony's research division. His job was to collect samples of the strange life forms that grew around the settlement, glowing moss, singing crystals, and small hovering insects made of light. Ethan liked the quiet. He had come from Earth 5 years ago, leaving behind noise, cities, and endless wars. New Horizon 3 was different, peaceful, silent, except for the sound of the wind and the hum of alien life. But that evening, something new appeared on his scanner. A strange energy signal, not from any plant or animal he knew. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat. The reading was human-shaped. He frowned. "That can't be right," he muttered. He followed the signal deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller here, their bark smooth and silver like metal. The air grew colder. His scanner beeped faster. Whatever it was close. Then he saw her. A figure stood between the glowing trees. Tall, slim, wearing what looked like a living suit made of silver threads that moved on their own. Flowing with each breath she took, the light from the forest reflected off her body, giving her an almost angelic glow. Ethan froze. "Hello?" he called softly. The figure turned. 2 large, pale eyes looked at him, full of fear and confusion. Her face looked human, too human, but something was off. Her skin was faintly luminescent, and her hair shimmered like strands of liquid metal. She took a step back. Her body language was tense, ready to run. "It's okay," Ethan said, lowering his scanner. "I won't hurt you." She tilted her head slightly, studying him as if trying to understand his words. Then in a voice that sounded like broken static, she spoke. "You, human?" Ethan's heart skipped. "Yes," he said carefully. "My name is Ethan. Who are you?" She didn't answer. Instead, her knees weakened and she collapsed. Ethan rushed forward and caught her before she hit the ground. She was light, too light, almost weightless. Her skin felt cool, not cold, just unnaturally smooth, like glass warmed by sunlight. "Hey, stay with me," he said. But her eyes had closed. He looked around. Night was coming fast. The glowing plants were dimming and the air was turning icy. Carrying her in his arms, Ethan made his way back toward the colony's research dome. The research dome. The dome's automatic doors slid open, and Ethan hurried to the med bay. The scanners whirred to life, bathing the room in soft blue light. He laid her on the examination table and activated the diagnostic field. The readouts appeared on the holoscreen. Ethan leaned in and froze. Human DNA detected. 98.3% match, he blinked. "No, that can't be." He checked the readings again. It was true. She was almost human, but not completely. Something was added, something the computer couldn't identify. Hours passed as he worked. He placed a thermal blanket over her body and started recording data. Her vital signs were faint but steady. Whatever she wasn't dying. Just exhausted. He sat beside her, unable to look away. There was something haunting about her face. Peaceful yet full of silent pain. "Who are you?" he whispered. The only sound was the soft hum of machines. At last she stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. She looked around the medbay, confused and frightened. When she saw Ethan, she tensed again, pressing herself back against the bed. "Easy," he said. "You're safe. You were unconscious." Her lips moved as if forming unfamiliar words. The translator implant in her neck glowed faintly, and her voice came out clearer this time. "You, help me?" "Yes, I'm a doctor," he said. "You collapsed in the forest." She blinked, her expression softening slightly. "Doctor," she repeated, almost tasting the word. "You are human?" "Yes," he said again, smiling faintly. "From Earth." Her gaze sharpened. "Earth," she said quietly, as if the word carried great weight. "I know this place." Ethan leaned forward. "You've been to Earth?" She hesitated. "Not me," she said slowly. "But we remember," he frowned. "We," she looked away. The silver suit she wore rippled as if alive, reacting to her emotions. For a moment her eyes glowed softly, and Ethan felt a chill run through him. "Who are you?" he asked gently. She looked back at him. "My name is Lyra." The warning, before Ethan could ask more, a low rumble shook the floor. The lights flickered. Ethan jumped to his feet. An earthquake? Lyra's eyes widened. No, not the ground, she whispered. They found me. Who? But before she could answer, the colony alarm blared. The communication console flashed red. Incoming object detected. Orbital descent. Ethan looked at the screen. A massive ship was entering the atmosphere, heading straight for the forest. Is that yours? He asked. Lyra shook her head. No, yours. What do you mean ours? Ethan asked, confused. That's a human ship? Her voice trembled. Not human anymore. She tried to stand, but the suit pulsed as if warning her. You must hide. They will not let me live. Ethan stepped forward. Slow down. Who are they? She looked at him with eyes full of sorrow. The ones who changed me. Before Ethan could process her words, the colony's main power cut out. The lights went dark. Only the faint glow from Lyra's body illuminated the room. Outside, thunder roared, not from the sky but from engines landing. Ethan grabbed his flashlight. We need to move. Lyra nodded weakly. They can track my suit. We must go far. He guided her out through the back corridor. The emergency lights blinked red, and distant explosions echoed from the landing zone. Ethan's heart pounded. Whoever was arriving, they weren't friendly. As they ran toward the forest, he noticed something strange. Her suit began to fade. The silver texture dissolved into dust, revealing beneath it human skin. Pale, soft, and marked with faint geometric lines that glowed like veins of light. She stopped, trembling. It's dying, she whispered. Ethan looked at her in shock. What is? The disguise, she said. The truth cannot hide anymore. Then, under the dim light of twin moons, the last piece of her alien suit vanished. She stood there, fully human to the eye, but her body shimmered faintly with energy, as if something inside her didn't belong to this world. Ethan stared, speechless. You're human. Lyra met his gaze, sadness in her eyes. I was, she said softly. Once. The ground trembled again. Heavy footsteps approaching fast. From beyond the trees, searchlights cut through the darkness. Ethan pulled her behind a rock. They're close, he whispered. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing. The faint glow in her skin brightened, pulsing with strange rhythm. If they find me, she said quietly, they will erase me, and you. Why? Ethan demanded. Because, she said, I am proof that humans are not alone, and that we were never meant to forget. The words hit him like a shock. Before he could respond, a drone light swept past them. They froze. The drone scanned the area, then flew off. Lyra opened her eyes. We go north, she said. There is an old site where it all began. Ethan nodded, still shaken. Then we'd better move before your not human anymore friends find us. They slipped deeper into the glowing forest, the lights from the landing ships fading behind them. Above, the sky burned with trails of descending craft, and somewhere far beyond the horizon, a secret older than both of them waited to be uncovered. The night on New Horizon 3 was long and cold. The twin moons glowed faintly behind drifting clouds, lighting the silver forest in pale blue light. Ethan and Lyra moved quietly between the tall trees, their footsteps soft on the glowing moss. They had been walking for hours since escaping the colony. Behind them, smoke rose faintly from where the ships had landed. Ethan's communicator buzzed several times, but he ignored it. He didn't want anyone to track them. Lyra walked a few steps ahead. Without her silver suit, she looked human, completely human, except for the soft light that pulsed beneath her skin. Sometimes it brightened when she was deep in thought, as if responding to emotions she didn't speak aloud. Ethan watched her closely. You said there's an old site to the north, he said quietly. What is it? She stopped, looking up at the sky. A place your people built before they forgot, she said. Ethan frowned. Before we forgot? What do you mean? Lyra turned to him, her expression serious. You think humanity came to this world 50 years ago, she said. But that is not true. You came before and long ago. You built, you left, and you erased it from your history. Ethan blinked. That's impossible. We've only had interstellar travel for a century. She gave a sad smile. You think that because they wanted you to think it. Her words made no sense, yet something about her tone made Ethan believe she wasn't lying. Who's they? He asked. Lyra's eyes darkened. The ones who made me. The ones who fear the truth, they continued walking. The trees grew thinner until the forest opened into a vast plain. In the distance, Ethan could see a faint blue glow, like old machinery still running beneath the soil. Lyra pointed toward it. That's the site. The forgotten place. By dawn, they reached the ruins. What Ethan saw left him speechless. Huge metal pillars jutted from the ground, covered in moss and vines. The structure looked ancient, but the design was human. The markings, the engineering, even the faded logo etched into one wall. UNSC, Earth Division. Ethan's heart pounded. No way, this can't be. UNSC has never been here. That's Earth's old military science branch from the 2100s. Lyra ran her fingers along the metal. Your people came here centuries ago, she said softly. They found something they could not control, and they buried the memory of it. Ethan walked closer. Something they couldn't control? She looked at him. Us? He stared at her in confusion. You mean, they created you? Lyra nodded slowly. Humans built the first fusion of human and alien biology. They wanted to create a bridge between species, a being that could survive in any world. But they failed. Most of us died. The survivors were hidden, used as experiments. Ethan felt sick. That's horrible. Lyra looked away. We were not supposed to exist. They feared what they made. They erased all records, but some of us escaped. We became something new, neither human nor alien. I was born generations later, carrying fragments of that origin. Ethan walked around the ruins, his flashlight sweeping across old signs, cracked terminals, and fossilized cables. It looked like no one had been here in centuries, yet faint power still pulsed through the walls. He knelt beside a terminal and brushed away dust. If this is really from Earth, he said, then maybe there's data left inside. Lyra joined him. Be careful. They might still be watching. Ethan activated the old system. The screen flickered, static, then faint blue light. Lines of code scrolled across it. Project Genesis log entry, ZSU 101. Objective, human adaptation to alien ecosystems through genetic integration. Status, partial success. Test subjects demonstrate enhanced biology but loss of identity. Directive, terminate and erase. Ethan's breath caught. Project Genesis. Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. That's what they called us. He turned to her. Lyra, if this is true, it means humanity created a new species and then buried it. She nodded. And now they are coming to erase the last proof, me. The chase suddenly, the faint hum of engines echoed from above. Ethan looked up. 3 drones flew low over the ruins, scanning beams cutting through the mist. They found us, Lyra said, eyes wide. Ethan grabbed her hand. Come on. They ran across the open ground, heading toward a collapsed tunnel at the edge of the site. The drones fired pulses of light that exploded behind them, scorching the dirt. They reached the tunnel and dove inside. The entrance was narrow, filled with old machinery and debris. Ethan pulled out his wrist light and crawled ahead. The passage twisted downward, deeper into darkness. Lyra followed silently, though her breathing was quick. They won't stop, she said softly. They are programmed to retrieve or destroy me. Then we'll make sure they fail, Ethan said, his voice firm. After several minutes, they emerged into a wide underground chamber. The air was cool and dry, and a soft blue light came from a giant sphere in the center of the room. The sphere floated above a pedestal, humming gently. Ethan stared. What is that? Lyra's eyes widened in awe. The core, it's still alive. What does it do? It holds the memories of the first experiments, she said. The truth about everything. She stepped forward, placing her hand on the sphere. Instantly it lit up, sending waves of light through the chamber. Images flashed, humans in white coats, alien landscapes, and the creation of hybrid beings. Ethan saw brief visions of children glowing like stars and soldiers shutting the doors on them. Lyra gasped and fell to her knees. Ethan rushed to her side. Lyra, what's happening? Tears ran down her face. I remember now. They used our DNA to heal themselves, to fight wars, to build new worlds. And when they were done, they called us mistakes. Ethan's hands clenched. Then they were wrong. You're not a mistake. She looked up at him. They won't let anyone know. They're coming to destroy this place and me with it. Then we'll stop them, Ethan said. The truth revealed. The floor shook. The sound of heavy steps echoed from the tunnel behind them. A voice boomed through the comm system, deep, metallic, and cold. "Dr. Corrin, this is Commander Havelock of the UNSC Restoration Fleet. You are harboring a classified bioentity. Step away and surrender." Ethan's jaw tightened. "So it's true," he muttered. "UNSC still exists," Lyra looked at him. "They will kill you if you stay." "Not a chance," he said. "If they want you, they'll have to go through me." The commander's voice returned, harsher. "You don't understand, Doctor. That being is not human. It's a biological weapon," Ethan shouted back. "She's more human than any of you." Gunfire echoed from the tunnel as soldiers entered the chamber. Their armor glowed blue under the core's light. Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand and pulled her behind the sphere. Lyra whispered urgently, "The core can defend itself, but I need to connect fully." "It will reveal the truth to everyone," Ethan nodded. "Do it. I'll hold them off." She looked at him with sudden fear. "You'll die," he smiled faintly. "Maybe. But if humanity forgot what it means to be human, then someone has to remind them." He ran toward a fallen console, using it as cover. The soldiers approached, their weapons drawn. "Stand down!" one shouted. Ethan stayed silent, grabbing a flare from his belt. He threw it toward a power line. Sparks exploded, blinding the soldiers for a moment. Behind him, Lyra placed both hands on the core. Her eyes glowed bright white as data streams filled the room. "Accessing Truth Archive," a voice from the core said. "Broadcasting to all UNSC networks." The soldiers froze. Their visors flashed with new data, files, images, and recordings of humanity's forgotten crimes. The commander's voice came again, furious. "Stop it, shut it down!" But it was too late. The light from the core spread across the room, rising like dawn. Lyra screamed as the energy flowed through her. Ethan ran to her side. "Lyra, stay with me!" Her voice trembled. "They will know now. They will see." The core's hum grew louder, then faded to silence. When the light cleared, the soldiers were gone, only their weapons remained, melted into the floor. The air was calm again. Lyra collapsed against Ethan's shoulder, her glow dimming. "What did you do?" he asked softly. She smiled weakly. "I gave them back their memory." The forest outside the ruins was calm now, bathed in the soft glow of the twin moons. Ethan carried Lyra through the remains of the old site, careful not to make a sound. Her energy had dimmed after connecting with the core, leaving only a faint glow beneath her skin. Ethan glanced at her face. She looked tired, but there was a new strength in her eyes. Something had changed, something he could not yet name. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Lyra nodded, though her lips trembled. "I never felt so alive," she said. "The core, it shared everything with me. I know who I am, and I know what humans can be." Ethan smiled. "And that's good?" She laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes. "Yes, good and frightening. Humanity has so much power, so much potential, but we forgot what it means to be more than machines, more than soldiers, more than explorers. We forgot to care." Ethan's heart tightened. "Then it's up to you to remind them." Lyra looked at him. "I can't do it alone. You showed me courage. You showed me humanity is more than survival. You made me trust again." He felt a warmth he had not felt in years. "Then let's do it together." The return to the colony. By morning, the colony's lights blinked in the distance. Ethan and Lyra walked carefully along the ridge overlooking the settlement. From this height, it looked peaceful. People moving about, unaware of the truth, waiting beyond the mountains. Lyra's glow pulsed faintly as she scanned the area. "They have drones everywhere," she whispered. "But now, I think I can control them." Ethan frowned. "Control them? How?" She raised her hands. Small pulses of light traveled from her fingers into the sky. The drones above twitched and then hovered, silent. One by one, they landed safely outside the colony. "They are no longer a threat," she said. "But the people, they need to know. The truth will scare them at first." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll help them understand." Slowly, safely, together they entered the colony. At first people gasped, unsure whether she was human or something else. But Ethan's calm presence reassured them. Slowly, curiosity replaced fear. Sharing the truth in the colony's central hall, Lyra connected to the main communication network. Her glow spread across the room, reflecting on walls and faces. She spoke with calm authority. "I am Lyra," she began, "and I am proof that humanity is stronger, braver, and more resilient than we remember. Long ago, humans came here. You created beings like me blending human and alien life. You called us mistakes, erased our history, and forgot the lessons of courage, empathy, and unity. But today, I stand before you as a reminder that humans can create life, protect it, and learn from it. That humanity is not defined by fear, but by heart. The crowd was silent. Some stared in disbelief, others in awe. Children pressed their faces against the windows, their eyes wide with wonder. Ethan watched her, his chest swelling with pride. He had seen the light of the core, the truth hidden beneath the stars, and now humanity could see it too. The first steps of change over the following days, Lyra worked with Ethan and the colony leaders. They shared the files from the core, the history of Project Genesis, and the stories of the beings who had been erased. People were amazed. Some cried, some laughed, some simply stood in silence. Slowly, the colony began to change. People spoke with kindness, helped each other more than ever, and started teaching the next generation about courage, curiosity, and empathy. Lyra became a symbol, not of fear or alienness, but of what humanity could achieve when it remembered its better self. Children wanted to learn from her, scientists wanted to explore with her, and leaders sought her advice. Ethan remained by her side, guiding her through the colony, helping her understand humans again. Though she was different, she was human in the truest sense, capable of hope, love, and bravery. A test of humanity. One evening, as the twin suns set in a blaze of violet and gold, the colony's alarms blared. Another fleet, far larger than before, approached. Ethan's heart sank. "They want to erase you again," he said. Lyra shook her head. "No," she said calmly. "They will see the truth now. They will know humanity is not just soldiers or explorers. We are creators. We are caretakers. We are alive." As the fleet descended, she raised her hands. The light within her surged. Data from the core streamed through the sky, reaching the ships in orbit. The leaders aboard those ships paused, scanning the information. Moments later, the fleet stopped its attack. Lights flickered as the pilots processed the truth. Humanity's lost history, courage, and creativity were revealed. "They see it," Lyra whispered. Ethan smiled. "And now, they can't take it away." The dawn of a new era weeks passed. The colony flourished. Lyra helped humans reconnect with their past. Not just the past of mistakes and hidden experiments, but of courage, discovery, and unity. Ethan and Lyra explored New Horizon 3 together, finding more remnants of the old human settlements. Each discovery brought stories, lessons, and inspiration. People began to rebuild, not just physically but spiritually. They remembered who they were. One night, standing on a cliff overlooking the glowing forest, Ethan turned to Lyra. "Do you ever feel like you belong?" She smiled, her glow faint under the twin moons. "I belong wherever humans remember who they are. And I belong with you, because you reminded me of humanity's heart." He took her hand. "Then let's make sure everyone remembers." Lyra nodded. "We will. Together." Above them, the stars shone brighter than ever. And for the first time, humanity on New Horizon 3 felt complete. Not because of technology, weapons, or power, but because of courage, empathy, and the truth. For the first time in centuries, humans and those like Lyra could stand proud, united, and strong. And somewhere beyond the horizon, new adventures awaited, worlds to explore, life to protect, and stories to tell, because humanity, when it remembered itself, could achieve anything.